Hi there, my name's Jason Williams, and this is part 2 of me building my shed, an introduction. And since I uploaded the first video just a few days ago, I haven't had any comments in regards to the mistake I made about I'm building my shed, right? I'd called this horizontal and I'd called this vertical. Don't know what was wrong with me. Bit tired, I think. Anyway, so this is horizontal, this is vertical. So just to clear things up. Alright, and then I'll show you something else that I'm doing. So here I'm welding the vertical post to the roof truss on the rear. This is a middle pole, and I did the same with the front. And then in this section I'm welding my little gusset. So up here you might be able to see that these gussets that I've tacked in, welded in, or they're just tacked there. You'll see it's a pretty ugly looking piece of RHS and with a piece of tube in it. Anyway, that's very temporary. That's just there to hold it in place while I put the roof steel on, which is the purlins. Alright, just to make sure. And I began putting up the purlins in this fashion for the roof and shuffling back and forth and putting each one up. Just as a technique, I just tried it out, and this seems to have worked. Since I'm doing this majority on my own, or pretty much all of it on my own. And but it seemed to work. I just did this side and I did the same with the other. And here you see me doing the same with the other side. Just I mean, apart from having to walk a bit further, and but it was fairly, physically extensive, but at the same time, you can tell I just took my time and did it piece by piece, gently, and eventually got there. I then began to spread them out, just going, to the back, to the front, lifting them up and over, and gently putting them in place. And it was actually surprisingly quicker than I thought it would be. I thought this would take me most of the day to do this, but it all come together fairly quick, just up and down ladders. That's all it was, up and down ladders all morning. And with the first side done, I commenced on the second, which is where I first put the purlins up, and did exactly the same process, just shuffling one after the other, as you can see. Just quickly running backwards and forwards, moving ladders and shuffling it until everything was in place. I then began to drill and bolt them all in place, all of them in the same fashion. And this was painstakingly and took a little while as I was drilling each one, painting it and bolting it, firming it up in place. And then I would move this interesting platform, which was really handy, to move to the next, and vice versa, and cross to the next one, and did them all in the same manner, the whole lot. Right, and this bit I'm going to put these fascia plates on, or bits of patio tubing as a fascia, because the tin for the wall, or this is the front section, is going to attach to this and go down and cover the sliding door. I've just got to tack these in place. I've got a clamp holding a piece of pipe, piece of RHS, SHS underneath it, and it's just sitting on there, and see how this goes. And in these couple of time-lapse videos, you'll see how I've put the fascia plate up there, the RHS, and got up and, I started clamping it, everything in place, and tacked it all together. You'll see the welder up on a really steep angle, as, the lead was a bit hard to reach, and welded them, painted them, and moved on to each one. I did the same process for the entire lot as I went through, and just, spun it around on this frame, and it was actually really easy to work. I even, did the back, You see me putting the clamps in place with the bits of tube, and then I just lift up the fascia plate or fascia board, whatever you want to call it, and then tack it all in place, weld it and paint it, do exactly the same as I did to the front. And I did all of these the same, so the tin has somewhere to attach and look neat when finished. Alright, onto this next bit. You see I've removed the RHS, and they're all in and welded nicely. Didn't record it, but oh well. Alright, next thing is this guy here on the ground. The door. This is quite exciting, isn't it? I've got to re-stitch it together, rebuild it, and replace some of the steel on it, and I'll record that now. So I guess I'll get a bit of metal. Here. Here. I try to have a piece of tin laying on the deck, so that I am not popping any of this new concrete. So as we can see here, it's got a lot of holes in it in the bottom section, so I'm going to have to cut this off, this whole bar, because it's pretty average the whole way along, even to the other end, and replace it. No worries. So after repairing the door and fitting all new bits into it that I need to, I then began sanding it with a little orbital sander, roughing it up so that the paint can stick. So then hopefully the paint lasts a long time on it. And as you'll see here, in this time lapse, I begin painting it. I've already painted the other side, as I forgot to record that. And I just go through with the paintbrush, and the paint I'm using is red oxide, and or phosphorus paint. And yeah, just after roughing it up, painting this on, and hopefully this sticks for a long time. And for this, I've done a couple of coats, and hopefully it lasts a test of time. I guess we'll find out as I go. And so here I cutting up the roof sheets, the sheets of tin for the roof, and I just marking them out. This was fairly simple. It got a whole lot harder when I actually had to put the roof on and put any of the sheets up, as that was difficult. Lucky I had some help, as you will see in these oncoming videos, that we put the roof up on the shed, and I got quite a bit of help from my brother and nephews. As you can see, the gutters are mounted and the tin is cut. This is just for the roof. I've sort of, I've got a few things covering it for the rain, and the door is hanging. It's in place. Right, now comes the fun part. Well, the more exciting part, which is putting the roof up. And you can see over there, I've got the insulation rolled out, ready, well, not rolled out, but sitting there on a pole, and gonna see how that goes, and you'll see that shortly. Alright, and so here we are. I'm passing the sheets up, and my brother's on the roof deck screwing them down. And so we would shuffle about, and I would line them sheets up and pass them up to him, and he would put the tacks in. As I was feeling a little bit unstable, I didn't feel confident enough to stand on the roof at this stage, and so just came to it that it was, my brother was driving all the tech screws. I was lining it up, passing him the sheets up, and trying to help hold the insulation in position as we tacked it down, as that seemed to be quite somewhat difficult, as I cut them during the heat of the day before, and then as like you see here, I'm rolling it out, putting them down. They weren't quite long enough because they were cut in the heat of the day, and I've done it while the day is not so hot, and it shrunk. And as we keep going, you'll see the sheets going up. I had a couple of my nephews
my brother's boys helping out, and we got through, passing, getting each piece of tin up, and just slowly going forth and getting more and more up as we just kept this pattern going, and we eventually got there. It only took us most of the day, it took us about a full day to sheet the roof.
So as we see, I'm now up on the roof, and the sheets are on. You can see the insulation here. The ridge capping is not yet done, and what I've got to do here is I've got the shifter, just got to adjust it to size and bend up these little tabs and these bits all the way along just a little bit. What that's going to do, this little guy here, is stop the water. Even though the ridge cap finishes down here, it's going to stop the water when it's strong wind and sideways rain, stop it hopping over, and not much. And so what I'm going to do is bend all these up, go along, bend the whole lot up, and then I'll give this a bit of a sand with some sandpaper, just gently, because this is the end I've cut. The end down the bottom where the gutter is not cut. It's a factory cut, which is good. It won't leak. It won't rust. Whereas this, I've cut that. I'm pretty bit brutal with it, so I'll give it a sand up here under cover. I'll give this a sand and paint it, and then that should be good for years to come. Sweet.
And so here in these little time lapse, we start doing the back wall on the shed. I've already done the other wall, as you can see behind the cruiser, and we just clamping the insulation in place, cutting it all. We first started lifting the sheets up in full size and marking them up there, bringing them down and cutting them, as you'll probably see. But that became, it was a little bit hard, difficult. We were just learning as we went, and then so we just learnt to measure it properly and then cut them to length and clamp the insulation, move it all around, get it all spot on. There we go. See, I'm lifting a sheet, big sheet. Me and my wife. My wife helped me do the back wall and some of the walls, as you see here. And but by this stage, as you can tell, we've cut them prior to putting them up there, which was a whole lot easier. And this was doing the sheets on the walls was, I reckon, the hardest part. Was trying to line the insulation up, clamp it in place, and get the sheets on without anything moving, which was a bit of a challenge, but it was quite rewarding once it was on there. Once the sheets are tin, like as you see, once they're on, it just transformed it instantly. It was quite nice to be inside.
Alright, as we see here, that wall's on, insulated, bit of insulation hanging down, never mind, I'll get there. The rear wall's done and insulated, and obviously the side wall and the old cruisers in the shed, and so I'm getting there. I'm really getting there. Apart from a bit of insulation hanging, that was my fault. Bit of insulation hanging down. I'll fix that shortly. And but the major part of the problem here is I'm leaking a little bit. You see a bit of water around, and that's because up here, well, on the outside, nothing can see it. It's raining at the moment. There's no flashing on. I reckon I'm going to whack that up today, the flashing, and then and even maybe, looking around here, even maybe I'll get onto this front wall if I get the chance. I don't like my chances of it, but yeah. So far, this shed's turning out to be really good. If I look here, we're quite wet. We've had a bit of rain, but it's not pooling anywhere on the concrete, so there's no low spots, and it's not running in the front at all. It's just kind of stopping there and just flows out. So we might have got the slopes and everything spot on. Hopefully, right? All right. I bet you're glad to be in a shed and to be registered. Awesome. All right. I can't record doing the flashing, and I haven't recorded much lately as it keeps, we're getting a bit of rain and it's just not really possible. And so I'm going to see if I can get up there and whack some flashing on. And if I get to the last wall, this one here, and the door, I'll record that from in here. All right. So the cockatoos are still around. All the flashing's now done. Everything's sorted. The last bits I have to do are on this front wall, so I'm going to sheet this. I've cut up some insulation there, ready to go. The tin's cut out on the concrete there, ready to go. Got the tools I need here, and this is all I can do, just start whacking it up. Oh, wish me luck. Ha. This will be the end of it, hopefully. One day I'll get there.
And here you can see I'm I set the insulation down that I previously cut and start clamping it in place and lining it up. And once I've got it lined up nicely, I get a sheet of tin and I clamp over the top and lock it in there. And this worked quite well, as you'll see in these next time-lapse videos. I've just I throw them over, clamp them in place, get a sheet of tin after I've got it all nice and neat, and clamp it in place, screwing them all, marking them all out and screwing them all in. And this is if you ever think, I could build my own shed, do it. But I can tell you, it's not an easy task when you're on your own. I had my brother help me do the roof, and my wife helped me do some of the walls. But apart from that, it's been completely solo venture. And you see here, I just pinning them all, getting very excited to get each piece done. And it's just been, this has been a very slow process. Had a bit of insulation there I just cut off. And then got to the exciting part of actually sheeting the front door. And as you can tell, this sheet's red and the next one will be blue, because I actually ran out of cream tin doing this, and I had no choice but to use some different coloured iron, as you see me going through here. And I sort of thought, this will look okay, red and blue door, that'll look kind of different. But in the reality is, I just ran out of the right colour tin. And the excitement was building quite a lot, because this is the final part of the construction of the shed. This is, after this, after these sheets go on, there's no more construction on this shed. There are lots of things I'm going to do inside the shed, building racks and all sorts of different things, but that'll come in future videos. But you see, I was just marking out, drilling, getting ready to tech screw in the last screws through the middle. And I test ran the door a few times. It just, I was so impressed by the time I finish this. I'm sick of building sheds. I don't want to build sheds anymore. You can see me laying on the ground here, just struggling along. I was a bit quite fatigued, and still am, even as I'm doing this voiceover. But this is it's almost there.
What do you know? The shed is done. My goodness, check it out. Did you see there's a bit of light shining in here? That is my light stand behind my head there. My little Milwaukee light stand. There you go. Cars in here. How cool is this? I finally have a shed. It is done. I'm really over it. The building of it was very tiring, and I'm very thankful I made the choice and bought the insulation. And I said, I'll buy some insulation. I'll insulate it. Yes, I'm glad I did. A lot of work, but man, it was so worth it. The light stand I've got shining up, and it's bouncing off the roof and all the other bits of insulation, so the lighting the area up. As you can see behind me, it's all lit up, And yeah, cool. Thanks heaps for coming on this adventure. I hope it doesn't echo too much in here. I reckon it does. Thanks for watching me build this. If you watch this, thank you very much. And I will inspire to see you in the next one. Who knows what I'm doing next? I'm sure. I think I know. And yeah, thank you very much for watching again. Awesome. And I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers, thanks.